It's the day after Easter, and this stranger calls. She's looking for a ride from this motel where she's been staying to another motel across town that she says will give her a cheaper rate. I'm tired and I'm busy and I'm stressed out, but I think, Jesus is risen. I probably owe him this, right? And she says she hopes I have a big trunk because she has a few boxes to bring. It turns out a few boxes is actually more like 15, and she watches while I pant and gasp and tear the ceiling of my car trying to pack everything inside. By the time we pull out of the parking lot, I am just pouring sweat and I'm pressed up against like 4 blenders, and I'm feeling distinctly cranky. And that's when she asks if we can run a quick errand or two. Over the next 3 hours, we are thrown out of this entire series of businesses as she starts fights with the employees and damages the produce. And I'm so mortified and I'm so frustrated that by the time we get to the motel, I have not said a word to this woman in like a solid hour. The motel manager tells me she would not possibly consider taking this guest unless I'll pay her twice the room's value in cash. So I slap the money on the counter, I unload all 15 boxes myself, and I go tearing out of that parking lot like I am being chased by rabid wolves. But that night, as I'm lying in bed, I'm just consumed with guilt. All I can think about is all of the ways I screwed this encounter up. I mean, I started out this day hoping to love like Jesus, and instead I feel like a worse human being than I would have been if I had just stayed in bed and not answered the phone. But I've realized something reflecting more on this encounter. Sometimes we think about life with God as if the goal was to minimize the mistakes. Just keep your hands clean and avoid screwing up. And sometimes it feels like the less I risk on loving real people, the better my odds of being holy at the end of the day. But there's something just strangely wrong-headed about that. The book of Genesis describes God as this one who creates out of chaos and mud, who experiments and reformulates on the way to making something good. I mean, maybe becoming like that kind of God means embracing a little bit more messiness. I mean, maybe holy clothes look less like white robes and more like clothes with a few stains and a bit of residue from loving imperfect people in an imperfect time. Maybe the best thing any of us can do is get up every day and just make the leap. Throw ourselves fully into loving as Jesus loves, and hope that when we fall, at least we fall forward and can start a little bit further along tomorrow. Maybe all the great stories, the great God stories, start with a bit of mud and chaos.